Hey y'all, hey. This is HQ. Today we got a serious subject. Let's hope we got people who'd like to hear about the subject, who can shed some light on the subject, who'd like to talk about the subject. We usually always talk about romances and things like that. How to find a boyfriend, how to find a man. We usually talk about those kind of things, right? But today I just want to talk about a serious subject because this is a serious subject because a young man did something so horrific and put himself in the middle of something we never want our children to be in the middle of, a murder investigation or trial, right? This young man, 17 years old, Karmelo Anthony, charged with murder for the fatal stabbing of a student at a track meet. So I'm going to read the page that I have, right? I'm going to read it because maybe some people had not heard it. And let's talk about it. A 17-year-old student charged with murder in this fatal stabbing of another student at a track meet allegedly confessed to the killing. And officers say he told them he was protecting himself, according to the arrest report. The incident occurred Wednesday morning at a Frisco Independent School District stadium during a track and field championship involving multiple schools in the district. Austin Metcalf, 17, an 11th grader at Frisco Memorial High School, died after police said another student stabbed him during an altercation in the bleachers at the meet. The suspect in the deadly stabbing, Karmelo Anthony, a student at Frisco Centennial High School, has been charged with first-degree murder, police said. One officer who responded to the scene said Anthony told him, unprompted, without being asked any questions about the incident, "I was protecting myself," according to the arrest report. When the officer advised another responding officer that he had the alleged suspect, Anthony reportedly responded, "I'm not alleged. I did it," according to the arrest report. As he was walking toward the squad car, Anthony was emotional, reportedly saying, unprompted, "He put his hands on me. I told him not to," according to the arrest report. Once in the back seat, he also reportedly asked if Metcalf was going to be okay, according to the report. Anthony made another spontaneous statement and reportedly asked an officer if what happened could be considered self-defense, according to the arrest report. Another officer reported that the suspect was crying hysterically while being walked away from the stadium, the report said. Anthony is being held in the Collin County Jail on $1 million bond, court records show. When reached for comment on Friday, his attorney told ABC News he had been on the case for only a few hours and needed to catch up. Okay. Anthony's father told ABC News on Thursday that they do not have a statement to make at this time. The stabbing occurred under the Memorial High School tent in the stadium bleachers at approximately 10 a.m. on Wednesday, according to the arrest report. Responding officers say they spoke to multiple witnesses, including one who reported that the altercation began after Metcalf told Anthony to move out from under their team's tent, according to the arrest report. The witness reported that Anthony allegedly reached inside his bag and said, "Touch me and see what happens," according to the arrest report. According to witnesses, Metcalf grabbed Anthony to move him, and Anthony allegedly pulled out what the witnesses described as a black knife and stabbed Austin once in the chest and then ran away, the arrest report stated. An officer recovered a bloody knife in the bleachers, according to the report. Metcalf was transported to an area hospital where he was pronounced dead at 10:53 a.m. on Wednesday, according to the arrest report. His twin brother, Hunter Metcalf, was also at the meet and spoke to officers at the scene. He said after his brother told Anthony he had to leave the tent because he didn't go to the memorial, the two went back and forth, and then Austin stood up and pushed the male to get him out of the tent. He said, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. Hunter Metcalf told Dallas ABC affiliate. It was really senseless. I don't know why a person would do that to someone just over that little argument. The track meet has been postponed to Monday and will be held at a new location. WFAA reported Frisco ISD will share more details on the updated security measures. Now we have our story, or we have supposed story, right? And everybody has an opinion on that story, right? The problem is we have a serious issue of inequality, disparity in policing when it comes to the race relations, because this is a black student who stabbed a white student. Now we have those issues coming up. These are complex issues. The subject of race, influenced by history, money, systematic injustices. Okay. It's always going to focus on disparity in police, incarceration rates, all of that. Sure, studies show that Black and Hispanic individuals are more than likely to be stopped by police than white individuals. The use of force incidents against people of color is proportionately too high. Black Americans are incarcerated significantly higher than white Americans have been. Now, with this young man, with that being said, there might be extenuating circumstances in which this occurred. Excuse me. This occurred. And I was upset when I heard about it. What the heck happened to the young man on that fatal day? Right? We cannot say, hey, everybody, hey for coming. We cannot say he didn't do it. He did it. He said he did it. He did it. Here's the thing. Would this be considered a lesser crime other than murder? He has been charged with murder. I think that sentence is ridiculous. Given the circumstances behind behind stories that have come out. I wanted to hear from people who wanted to get on the panel and could explain, what do you think? Why is there a disparity in the charges that they would give this young man? I heard there was a difference in weight. There was a difference in attitude. There was many differences between these two individuals. I was told, or I saw, that they had not known each other. So to me, automatically, that would rule out murder in the first degree, right? Now, murder in the first degree, what do you need to be charged with murder in the first degree? Murder, first degree. My understanding, murder in the first degree is premeditation. It was premeditated. How can they charge him with premeditation and he doesn't know the young man? Negus Blackus? Who is this? Hello? Show yourself. Oh, that's Cellulite. Hey, Cellulite. I
Extreme.
didn't see it till your stuff. I didn't see it till your stuff got small.
You good, you
How
good.
you
But don't say
doing?
it like that. Don't say it like that. I'm a big dude. Come on now.
Well,
Give
you
me
know what I'm
that.
saying. How
What's
you
going
doing?
on with you?
I'm
I'm
good.
doing good.
Don't
Um,
it just break your heart? Don't it just break your heart? Don't it? Mm,
in more ways than one, but you know how I get down. Sometimes we have to get all the facts right. So I didn't want to cast judgment on this. That's why I came up here because I really wanted to ask you, did you read the arrest report?
no, I haven't. I haven't gotten a arrest report. I was just. I mean, it weighed on me. It,
Uh-huh.
it weighed on me. I was like, I don't really want to hear him say. I really don't. You know how you avoid. You want to avoid.
Of course, of course.
I was trying to avoid. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna ponder on this young man. Please.
Can I give you a present?
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Share your screen. Share the screen.
okay. Right here. Get up there. All right. Wait a minute. I got to take one off. Let me remove this. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not
Take
good at
your time.
this.
Take your time. It's all right. Just take your time. No rush.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Now, for the purpose of keeping your channel safe, I always run all of my documents in negative color. That way, it won't be no copyright strike, right? Or no privacy complaint. But this
Okay.
is the official arrest report that came from this particular situation involving Carmelo Sincere Anthony. And then you can read everything that happened. Now, usually, what I like about these arrest reports, they try to get as much detail as early as possible. That way, any of the information won't be skewed. And then
Mm,
also, what happens too much in mainstream media is they try to paint their own narrative when it comes to story like this. But
right.
unfortunately, because there's only one person who's alive that's in this situation, because the other young man is deceased, we can only get one side of the argument. Now, I don't know if there's any video evidence. There's going to be witness statements, of course, but this is what we have as far as that. So that's why I
Okay.
wanted to give you this, and we can read through it if you want to, or I can just leave it here. I can give you the link to this arrest report. That way you can scan over it. It is a total of 7 pages long. Yeah,
Mm,
7 pages long in total. So that way we can get a better description as to what's going on.
okay. Okay. Uh, if you I don't know how to do fancy stuff, so
I got you. I got you.
I don't know how to do fancy stuff now.
It's a, it's all right. So, let's get to the part initially, just where it all happened at.
Okay, at the
So,
beginning. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So at 10:01 hours, I, Stanley, school resource officer E. Cortez, heard over the radio dispatch call of a stabbing called out by David Stadium. Of course, that's the address of the school. FPD
Right.
call notes indicated that an athlete was stabbed. The suspect was reported as being a black male wearing a gray hoodie and blue sweatpants. Then we get to, we don't have to read through all of this thing, pretty much him saying, yo, I ran and I took this many steps and all this, that, and the other.
Right.
So we get here. He says there was a chain link fence that separated me from the suspect. I gave the suspect instructions to keep his hands up in the air. During this time, the suspect said verbally out loud, I was protecting myself. It should be noted that I had not questioned him about the incident when he made that comment. I
Mm,
asked him if he had any weapons, and he said no. I patted him down for weapons while we were walking along the fence, and I did not locate any on this person. I instructed the male to continue walking along the fence, which he complied, towards an area where there was an opening in the fence that led to off the track. While walking him off the track, the suspect also said he put his hands on me.
okay.
I then detained the suspect in handcuffs, handcuffed behind his back. Now, I want to stop right here just for a second.
Okay.
School resource officers, anytime when they come down to police, they don't know what they're walking into. So
Mm,
for their safety and for
right.
the safety of the suspect, they usually put them in handcuffs because if you have if you get a call, HQ, you the security guard, you get a call and the description is me, you walk up to me and I have blood on me. To make sure you're safe, you would want to put me in handcuffs, right?
Right. Right.
Right.
Correct.
So there we have that. So now we get to the part where it says, right here, where was that? All right. And set him down on the ground. Officer A. Ricky had arrived on the scene at that time. I conducted another pat down of his person and then searched his person after he gave me consent. No weapons were located.
Right.
While the suspect sat on the ground, I advised that I had the alleged suspect. The suspect then responds and says, I'm not alleged, I did it. So he's already making it well known that, yes, it is me. I'm the person you're looking for, and I was defending myself. Well, let me make sure I say that in chronological order. The first thing he said was, I was defending myself. He put his hands on me, and I'm not alleged, I did it. So he's forthcoming, like, look, this is what happened. I'm the one that did it, but this is why it happened.
Right.
Right. So next, Officer Ricky and I walked the suspect to a patrol vehicle. As we were walking to the squad car, the suspect was emotional and said he put his hands on me. I told him not to. Now, according to what you just read in the news, you see how it's blending to do the two different statements? Because in the news, it said that he told the boy, touch me and watch what happened. Now, in this report, the boy is saying, you
Right.
see, right.
Right. It's a narrative being spun or starting to be spun in the
Yeah.
in the news cycle. I got it. Okay.
Right. So then he says, I did not question the suspect about the incident while he was escorted to the patrol vehicle. I searched this person once again and had him sit in the back seat. While the suspect was in the back seat, I noticed fresh blood on his left middle finger. I verbally acknowledged that I saw the blood out loud so that it would be captured on the body-worn camera, which I'm pretty sure we're going to get that as well. It should also be noted that the suspect asked me, is he going to be okay? So this is where he asks, is he going to be okay? I then identified the suspect. He provided his name and date of birth verbally as Karmelo Anthony, black male with a date of birth of, thankfully they redacted that because we don't need to know his age, which I ran through the FBD dispatch. Officer J. Hancock arrived on scene and remained with me and the suspect at this point. Karmelo was then checked via eSchool database to also confirm his identity. The identifying information he provided matched the individual I had in custody. Next, I was advised by Sergeant Holland to transport the subject to Frisco PD jail. Officer Hancock and I transported him to the FPD jail. Again, I did not question Karmelo. Now, it's good. I'm glad that he's putting this multiple times in the report because, again, anytime you write a report, you have to understand that this may turn up in a court document, and you want this to be very clear that you didn't question the suspect. The suspect is being forthcoming with the information.
Right.
So we get to the part, I'm going to just skim through this a little bit. The jail staff changed him out of his jail attire. He remained with him during the change over the clothes that Karmelo was wearing. Displaced the FDD paper evidence bag. The clothes remained in possession. Returned the patrol car, drove. Karmelo's clothes remained in the trunk, so he's notifying where the clothes are. And then he says, I have no further information. Now we get to the supplemental report. So if anyone that doesn't know, a supplemental report is not a edit, it is a add-on of the report.
Okay.
All right. So now, because all these reports need to be as specifically detailed as to the why, who, what, where, and when, but it only is for information that's pertaining to the incident, not to what we think and or feel.
Okay.
So he describes that he was wearing his uniform, which is good because now he is easily identifiable as a police officer, which is great. I was operating a fully marked Frisco police vehicle, which is also good. That way he's not an unmarked police officer. He's putting this in his report so everyone knows he is an actual police officer.
Right.
All right. The suspect was described as a black male wearing a gray hoodie, sweatshirt, and blue sweatpants. I responded code 3. Got that. Arrived on the scene. Got it. When I arrived on the scene, I approached the track field area and saw Officer Cortez kneeling next to a black male wearing gray hoodie. All right. So you got the description. He gets to identify him as our Karmelo Anthony. Good. Was in handcuffs and was seated. Good. All right. Now we get to the important part. He says, as I approach Officer Cortez stated Anthony was the alleged suspect, which is true. Anthony made a spontaneous statement and stated, I am not alleged. I did it. So now we have two people who was a witness of him stating that he did this. And of course, it's going to show up on body cam. Officer Cortez conducted a patch search, which was already mentioned in the first report. Officer Cortez and I then walked Anthony to my pre-searched patrol vehicle. Anthony was seated in the rear driver side compartment of my patrol vehicle. All right, cool, got that. I noticed Anthony had blood on his left middle finger. I grabbed my department-issued digital camera and took a photograph of Anthony's hands, which is something that has to be done. I have to stop right here to point this out. Even though the officer is wearing a body-worn camera, you still have to have a camera to take still images or stagnant images for evidence. Cool, we got that. Later uploaded the photograph to the crime scene folder under the case number. Officer Cortez remained on my patrol vehicle and Anthony while provided assistance with scene security. Nothing further to report. Then, of course, we still get down here. This is still part of supplemental and all this, that, and the other, explaining this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. So in this particular case, let's get to, I was walking towards the village bleachers. All right, we get to the knife part. Athletic trainers were on site and were providing care to the victim and advised he was not conscious and not breathing. The notes also indicated that the suspect was a black male with a goatee and shirt wearing Centennial gear. Got that part. When I arrived on scene, I grabbed a roll of crime scene tape from my trunk and proceeded to the visitors' bleachers. Great. While I was walking towards the visitors' bleachers, I approached by a witness who identified himself as redacted, which is good. We don't need to know that person as of yet. Began telling me what happened, and I asked him where the stabbing occurred. Blank advised it happened under the Memorial High School pop-up tent in the visitors' bleachers. I immediately informed Sergeant Oatis where the witness stated the stabbing occurred and gave him the crime scene tape to start securing the crime scene. I then had Blank move to the walkway under the visitors' bleachers out of the rain to further speak with me. The following is a summary of my contact with Blank. So now we can get to maybe where the news came up with this narrative. Because remember, what did he say? Touch me and see what happens. That's not reported by Karmelo. This is being reported by a witness, which we're going to read.
Okay.
See, this is why it's important that we read these things. So the victim, Austin, and the suspect. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I'm having a child interruption. All right, who was later identified as Karmelo, was from Centennial High School and was sitting under the Memorial High School tent. Austin had told Anthony that he needed to move out from under the team's tent, which you read in the first report. Anthony grabbed his bag, opened it, and reached inside and proceeded to tell Austin, touch me and see what happens. No one really thought Anthony really had any weapons in his bag, and Austin proceeded to touch Anthony. And then Anthony told Austin to punch him and see what happens. So we have a touch and we have a punch, according to the witness. So now here comes the question. HQ, this is your son. This boy is in this area with his team and he's not supposed to be there. Your son says, hey, yo, you're not supposed to be over here. And the boy won't move. He says, okay, well, you need to leave. I can do what the fuck I want. Okay, cool, no problem. And then now we get to the, bro, you need to leave. Or I ain't got to leave. You'll get touched. Okay, touch me, see what happens. So he touches your son. Okay, cool. And then your son say, okay, since you want a touching game, punch me and see what happened. Because we don't have no account as to what happened from the other boy. So apparently, allegedly, Karmelo got punched. Is that grounds for self-defense for him to now attack him back? I'm only asking about attacking. I didn't say stab. I just said attack. That's my question to you. Is that grounds for him to attack back?
At this point, he's defending himself.
Now, we only have a report of one knife and one person being stabbed. We don't have a report of a fight. We just have a report of a knife and a stabbing. So let's refer back to report. No one really thought Anthony really had any weapons in his bag, and Austin proceeded to touch Anthony. Then Anthony told Austin to punch him and see what happens. A short time later, Austin grabbed Anthony to tell him to move, and Anthony pulled out what the witness recalled as a black knife and stabbed Austin once in the chest and then ran away. Now, let me ask you a question. If these two boys would have just got to throwing hands, would you say that would have been fair?
Yeah, they would have just been fighting, hand to hand. Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, one boy touches another boy and he pulls out a knife and stab him. Is that fair?
Depending, to me, it depends. There's other circumstances beyond that. To me, one, if I'm 5'2" and you're 6'8", and I'm surrounded by you and you're pushing me and you're tugging on me and you're punching me, I believe that I am in imminent danger.
Gotcha.
So do I have the right? Do I have the right to protect myself if I think I am in danger to that particular point? Then yes, I am
I am.
feel as
I'm
though
with you.
there is a threat.
I'm with you 100%. Can I introduce something just as 1 second, right? And I always do this when I do reactions and read these different type of reports. I'm not saying this about you. I just say this about everyone, right? Because this is the way I was taught to read and participate in these reports. I want you to approach this from the position of a juror. Imagine you sitting in a juror seat while all of this is being displayed in front of you. You are now hearing by witness account that the boy invited him to touch him and also threatened him that if you touch me, see what happens. And if you punch me, see what happens. And then now we find out from witness statement, from witness account, which I'm pretty sure there's going to be more, that after the invitation for him to be touched and for him to be punched, he then stabs him. If you're a juror, what do you call that? I know, remove just before you answer, remove your own personal emotion about it and just stick with just the facts. I
If
invite someone to touch me and I invite someone to punch me and I let them know that there's going to be consequences, but I'm not telling them what consequences that is. If you're a juror, what's your reaction to that?
I would, it would go to intent. It would go to what did I have? Yes, it would go to. It would go. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say. See, that's difficult. That's
I
really
know
difficult.
I know it's difficult. That's why this is why I like asking the hard questions. I want you to forget what skin color these boys was. I want you to forget the fact that these were boys. I just want you to stick with just the names and the information available.
Right. Right. No, no,
If
no.
it's,
I
yeah,
mean, I'm complete. I'm complete. That's completely not my thought, and I'm
gotcha.
trying to find. See, that's the one piece that has me stuck.
Mm.
Has me stuck. That you said. If he says, "Don't touch me," if you touch me, I'm gonna hurt you. If you touch me, I'm gonna hurt you. If you touch me, you put your hands on me and you touched me. Do it again. You're gonna find out what happens.
Are you a victim if you say that?
No, I'm not absolutely a victim, but I'm not all but I'm also but I also am not I'm also not a person who went there with the premeditation to harm you though.
Correct. I
I
wouldn't
didn't go,
argue.
I
I
didn't
wouldn't
go there.
argue.
I didn't go there to harm you though.
Correct.
See?
But
So
now,
but they
yeah,
charged him with murder, which is
well,
wrong.
think about it like this. What's the policy on weapons on school grounds?
I don't think you
Is it,
should I don't think you can have a gun or a firearm, but he had a small fishing knife.
is
So
it
a
okay?
small fishing knife,
I'm
but it
sorry,
could
I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad.
no, it could be used as a fish. It could be used as a weapon, or it could be used as a tool. He had it.
Gotcha.
What was he
Gotcha.
using it as a tool, or was he using it as a weapon?
Great
Right.
point, and I'm glad that you asked that question. Now, he used a tool as a means of a threat. And what
Mhm.
happened when he used this tool as a means of a threat? He used this tool. It's not a tool anymore. Now it becomes a weapon with intent. If you touch me, I'm going to do something. Well, let's go by the words. Touch me and see what happens.
But we
Punch
don't
me.
know. But we
No,
don't know his intent.
we don't know. We don't remember. We don't know his intent. We only go on with what's presented before us because we all have to come down to this. When it comes to the court of law, it's not about what's true, it's about what you can prove. Would you agree to that?
Yes.
Okay. If I am the prosecutor, all I have to do is ask the correct questions. Why does this boy have a fishing knife on school grounds where there is no lake, there is no fish, there is no pond? What is the
Mm,
school policy? Does the school policy allow for tools such as fishing knives or any type of sharp bladed weapons to be brought to school, especially in the era where even if you bring a shell casing to the
mhm.
school, they will tell you that it's still considered a firearm. So why would y'all be okay with a knife?
Right. So he brought it to school, which means what was his intent when he brought it to school? Outside of this incident, why did you bring that knife to school?
Very good question. That's only a question that Anthony can answer, and we will never know that until this either goes to trial or he says that in a interrogation. Which I don't think he should be interrogated. I think that he should only be questioned with the presence of his parent or a social worker. I don't know how old is this young man again.
I'm assuming he's 17, just like the other guy. Well, I don't know whether they released his age or not. The other guy was 17, right? So I'm
We're
assuming
on page
same.
4.
I'm assuming he's around the same age.
Yeah, so they don't have his. Oh no, he's 17. So I don't know. Yeah, in the state of Texas, I don't know if Texas would conclude that at that age he's okay to be questioned by himself. I can only assume that because they charging her with murder, not with juvenile, right?
See, here's the thing.
Hmm.
I'm assuming,
Hmm.
or as a layperson, I'm assuming, or he should be charged with something. But do we believe he should be charged with murder one?
Well, with what is the conditions of murder one? The conditions of murder one is what?
Premeditation, intent, deliberation.
So if I remember, we're not going by what's true, we're going by what we can prove. If I can show in court that you brought this knife to school with the intent to do something, not necessarily to attack someone, but you brought this knife to school with the intent to do something, which we don't know at the moment. But not only did you bring this knife to school with this intent, you deferred to this knife when it came to handling a situation, be it hostile or not, be it
Yes.
be it that he's taller and bigger than you did not. You intended to reach for this knife. You intended to threaten this other young man with this knife, right?
But you
So
know,
when
but
Mhm.
you know, you have to prove all three of those tenets. You have to prove all three of those legs of to get first degree murder. You have to prove premeditation. The killing was planned or thought out beforehand. That's not true. He did not plan or think this out beforehand. Number two, his intent. Did he intend to kill? No, he did not. He asked in the car, is the child okay? Number three, deliberation. The act was committed with a conscious decision, not impulsively. Yes, it was impulsive that he pulled out that knife. He had no intention of pulling out the knife because he didn't know the man. He had no premeditation to hurt Austin Metcalf. See, you have
so
to
what
prove, you have to prove all three of those legs in order for it to be murder one, and they cannot prove all three.
True. But what we can prove is that because of his actions, he had intent to do great bodily harm with a weapon. Is that agreeable or is that not agreeable?
But we can but we cannot say that because the young man did not know Austin Metcalf beforehand. If
This
I
is true.
want, but see, I'm putting myself in a different position. I'm putting myself in a position of uh a different, not myself, but I'm
Mhm.
presenting a different scenario. I go
Gotcha.
to the grocery store and I have mace
Gotcha.
in my pocket.
You don't have the intent to mace someone, but it's there as a deterrent.
Yeah, but what if they die because I sprayed them with mace?
Then that would be either manslaughter or second degree,
That's
right?
my whole point. My whole point
Yeah.
was I went to the store with the
Yeah.
mace. The mace, the person ended up dying because they had serious asthma or whatever.
Hmm.
But I had something that would be considered a deterrent or something that's deadly in my purse, and I pulled it out and I used it. I used the
Right.
same words as Carmelo.
Hmm.
Don't touch me. See what happens if you touch me.
Yeah.
But I didn't go to the store. I didn't go to the store to hurt
Hmm.
this person.
Correct.
You know
So
what I'm saying?
is
So
it?
those three
Yeah.
tenets they got to prove.
Right. But we also have to figure out what is the tenets or the statutes to prove self-defense in Texas. I'll look that up. Give me 1 second.
Hey,
Self-defense.
Black America and typography. Black America, why you looking that up? Black, what you got to say?
Hey, HQ, is it too loud? Is my background too loud?
It's a little bit.
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
Okay, I'm gonna just say something real quick and then hop back off. Yes, I'm sorry. I understand how you as a woman feels. It is premeditated. I am not taking anything to the school, let alone to attract me, if I don't and plan on doing something with it. Once I say touch me, and you're gonna see what happens, it is now concrete that if you touch me, something is going to happen to you that's diabolical. So it's
Mm,
hands down. It's hands down. I'm sorry for the little black kid, but it doesn't have anything to do with color. It just has to do with young men and things that can happen when you're either fighting or you choose a weapon to fight instead of using their hands. And let me tell you something else. They were both student athletes. Both of them played football. Nobody is punking anybody on the football team. No football team members get bullied or anything like that. So let's get far away from that as we possibly can, because both of these boys have highlight reels on football. So it means they're both star athletes in their town. There's they could have fought and shook hands a month later or next year going into their senior years. The young black dude, he actually just murdered that guy. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm
ouch.
sorry, but that's what happened. All right,
May
I'm
I?
jumping off.
I
Okay,
appreciate
thank you, Black America. Thank you.
just so we
Yes.
can all be. Hey, Tiff, how you doing?
Hey, hon.
Tiff, you are muted. May I introduce something so that we can all be caught up and educated just on the situation, so we can have a better understanding of what's going on, right? So I'm going to switch tabs for a second because I like to read these reports in its totality. They are charging him with first degree felony murder, section PC 19.02C. So when I
Mm,
switch over here to this tab, we now have to see why it is that they specifically are charging him with Texas Penal Code 19.02. And then we have to go down to C. So in this section, adequate cause murder. I'm sorry, no, we have to go down to C right here. So current as of January 21, 2024. In this section, adequate cause means cause that would commonly produce a degree of anger, rage, resentment, or terror in a person of ordinary temper sufficient to render the mind incapable of cool reflection. Sudden passion means passion directly caused by and arising out of provocation by the individual killed or another acting person. I'm acting with the person killed, which passion arises at the time of the offense and is not solely the result of former provocation. But when we go down to C, except as provided by subsection D, which
mhm,
means we don't need subsection D, an offense under this section is a felony of first degree. So that's why
mm,
they charged him with 1902, which is murder, and they charged with section C. Now, the reason that this is important, because what they want you to do is make sure that you do not include subsection D. Subsection D says at the punishment stage of a trial, the defendant may raise the issue as to whether he caused the death under the immediate influence of sudden passion. Remember, he said, touch me and this will happen. Punch me and this will happen. So
Right.
not ruling out self-defense, but the defendant now has to prove self-defense if you offered and or if not invited for something to happen. It may have not been what you wanted to happen, but you opened the door for the threat. If the defendant proves the issue in the affirmative by a preponderance of the evidence, the offense is a felony of the second degree. This is why they charged him with the first, because if the first doesn't stick, they can stick to the second.
Second one. Right.
Okay. So now that we have that understanding, it was one more thing to look up right here. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, HQ. I like to do PowerPoint presentations just so you
That's
can
okay.
all.
Keep going. It's background. It's background for the discussion. Thank you.
So, did it share correctly? Share this tab. There we go. All right. So we was talking about which one is it? This is the one I'm looking for. Self-defense. So in Texas, you can use force, including deadly force. This is important, including deadly force in self-defense if you reasonably believe it's immediately necessary to protect yourself or others from imminent harm, and the force used must be proportional to the threat. Now, I asked you, proportional to the threat, how tall, or in size comparison, how tall or body mass is Anthony to the other boy? Are they the same height, same weight?
No. Anthony is like 220, and the young man is like 100 pounds smaller, right?
The young man that got deleted?
We can't
The
hear
young Tiff, you are muted.
you. Can't hear you. You muted.
The white guy is the big one.
Okay. Hey,
The
Like,
white guy is the big one.
Yeah, the smaller guy is a little black boy.
about
Okay.
130. He's 130, and the white guy, young man, is about 220. So that's a 100-pound difference.
Okay, now that we got those facts,
Those are
You
fluff numbers. Those are football numbers. You have to remember
Oh,
the
okay.
eye on them stats. So that's kind of
Okay.
so
Oh.
now that we have those facts, we have those presented facts. Let's just stick with that. Presented facts. He touched them first. Is that grounds for self-defense? Let's go with this step by step. He touched them. Is that grounds for self-defense?
Yep.
So by touching him, that's grounds to pull a knife out and stab him.
He had a right to defend himself.
Hold on, wait. We haven't got to that part yet because he didn't stab him yet. Remember, he touched him. Is that grounds enough for him to stab him?
Yes.
The answer is no, Tiff. Just give me 1 second. Remove our emotion from it and let's just stick with the facts.
How do we why do we see it differently? Why do you see it differently, Tiff? Why do you see it as see, I don't know. I'm just getting caught up on this whole thing because when stuff like this happens, I get touched emotionally and I can't really read it because it hurts my heart too much. So today I just felt compelled to do it. So why do you think it was self-defense, or why do you think he should have, after that first initial push or touch, he had a right to do what he had to do?
So I have a lot of questions about a lot of different things. My first question is, because it's as he continues to read, it's going to be almost 3 different scuffles. I want to know where the adults were, because if it was a downpour, it was rain, and they're kids to me. 1 scuffle, okay. 2, pushing it. But 3, I something is not right with that. I'm definitely wondering, it's been 2 weeks, no video. They did make this an exorbitant bond. I watched his father speak, who said he understands what his son said. He didn't feel comfortable saying what he said, but please don't make it political or racial. So at some point, you don't get a right to try to bully people. The things that they're saying that's not lining up. So still, I don't know if you saw his dad or not,
Mm-hmm.
but the father, just none of it looks right. None of this looks right. I'm 10 minutes from Frisco. So
Can
I and my son play football. I know how these people are.
can I introduce something for a second?
Introduce
I,
him.
I usually, and this is just me personally because of the way that my brain thinks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I don't like to introduce emotional aspects such as the father, right?
That's
I
you. But
understand.
you're asking me why I
Hold on, wait. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. When it comes down to the interaction between these two boys, I can only we first of all we only can go by what Anthony is saying because the other boy is deceased at this moment, right?
Right.
his brother was there, and there's 76 witnesses.
Okay, so of the 76 witnesses, right? What
Mm-hmm.
are they saying? Are they saying that the white boy touched him? That's what they're saying, right?
Are they
The
saying?
stories are kind of convoluted.
Right.
Okay.
So again, that's why I'm saying go back, because what the
Well,
boy said versus what the son is saying versus what the police
mhm,
report is saying, as if like it's just too many what ifs, and there are too many
yeah.
people that want to, like, you're trying to put this all out now. Let the
Mhm.
information get out, because right
Right.
now we want to piece this and piece that and piece this and piece that, and what is this
Mhm.
law and what is that law. No, we know one baby is dead,
Right.
one baby is in jail, and
Right.
we know something ain't right because Texas is a stand your ground.
Got you. So
So help me to understand why
if
you
we stick it, if we stick it only with the facts, the fact says that one baby is dead and one baby is in jail, correct?
Right. Right.
Okay. So due justice must be served for the death of that child, whether it is self-defense, which I wouldn't have a problem with, or whether it's not self-defense, which I don't have a problem with. But this
Well,
is why I said,
this is what I got a question. This
sure,
one question.
sure.
Why was he in that tent?
Very good question. I could tell you right now from my years of playing football, we did dumb shit like that. Hey, go over there, see if you can sneak over there, steal some of the plays, see what they talking
Or
about. You see what I'm saying?
or
Mhm.
or he's new to the place. It's a tent for the other school. It's the
Mhm.
other school's campus, right?
Yeah.
So
no,
and it started to rain,
it
right?
was raining, and he ran in a tent because it was
That's what
raining,
I'm
and they're
saying.
not
It
at a
was raining,
football. It
right?
is track. Please
Okay.
stop convoluting this, because
Right,
what
but you
what
introduced the
happened at
football,
football,
but you introduced the football aspect, and we're talking about track. This is why I said,
talking about
but this is why I said remove emotion from it and let's only stick with the facts. No one brought up football. You brought up football,
So
so
the
you
that's
boy,
why I
okay,
said,
size. You
okay,
asked, but
you
you're a
got
size difference.
okay, yes,
That's
a
why that
size
was brought
difference. Exactly. So a size
up.
difference
And you
based
brought
on
up
the
football
evidence.
reels and star players, and we don't know that to be true.
I didn't bring up football reels and star players. The other
wait a minute,
gentleman did.
whose
Wait, the
campus
other
was
gentleman did. Hold on,
wait,
Tiff. The other gentleman did. That wasn't me.
cellulite? Whose campus was this?
It's not anybody's campus. It's a field stand. So in Texas, because we have so many people that play, you have
Mhm.
private fields. Frisco is very nice and very affluent. If you don't understand that, it's where the Cowboys Stadium is. And I'm sure those boys were playing at Hampton, the new field. So the
Okay.
fact, there's got to be cameras, there's got to be footage, because this area is very affluent, very well off. We're going to figure out what really happened.
Okay.
When did I
So
bring up football? Black America brought up football. I didn't
Black
bring up
America
football.
did. Black America did.
Right.
So the young man ran under. So it was neither one of their places, right?
It
So the
was
young
it was
man,
it's
yeah.
it was their tent, but the school, the field, the whole community can use it, right? So
Okay.
like it's just a large stadium where they were having a track meet.
So they saw this young man run under the tent. He was running. We assuming he's running because of the rain, right?
It's two
Getting out of the
stories.
rain,
Well,
right?
one, someone said he was invited, and then two, they said he ran under the rain. And that's what I'm saying. It's so many different moving parts We really do not know. And anything that we're saying is hypothetical and happenstance at best.
But we only going by the report which has been given so far from here. This is the initial report that this is the only thing, and I don't disagree with you. It's not fair to really cast judgment on it because it's so early. But I'm with Tiff on this. It's been 2 weeks. Y'all got to give us something, right? But if we can only go by the evidence or rather the facts that's being presented, even if they are wrong, we have to wait until the other facts come out. But the problem is it is one-sided because we can only hear from one side of what actually happened between these two people because one is deceased. Now we can get the witness statement, but the witness may be biased because why? They might be teammates or they might not be teammates.
You know what's going to be very important? Very important is going to be
there, though? The twin.
The twin.
I'm sorry.
There.
Do you add the fact that the little boy was in their tent and his twin was there, so it was his teammates? What the way that it sounds is like he must have been over there, right? And the bigger boy, the white boy, was like, "Yeah, you can't be over here." Oh, dude must have been like, "Yeah, whatever." They probably went back and forth because, again, gravitas, toxic masculinity, and people not being able to take an L. Because both the boys been able to kind of mine it better, but they're 17. For me, Stellan, help me. My concern is, where were all the adults? Where was a coach? Where was an athletic director? Where was an official? Where was a mom? Like,
what does toxic masculinity have to do with that?
The fact that men in
what does this have to do with gender? Like, what is this? Is why we can never.
I and HQ can have it. We can have it out. The likelihood of us touching each other is very rare. But when y'all get into it, violence is a factor.
This has nothing to do with gender. Why do y'all always try to make this a gender thing? This has nothing to do with gender. We're discussing the facts, which is laid out before us, discussing the interaction between two boys, regardless of their race. What the hell does this have to do with gender, other than the fact that
my question is this: why was he bullying that young man out of the tent?
We would never know because he is deceased, and we won't have that answer.
Hi, big dog, Mark.
Hey, how y'all doing? Can I say something right fast? As a former coach, that Karmelo Anthony didn't have no business under my tent. First and foremost. So by him being under my tent, my players, my athletes, yes, you have to get up under my tent. You don't know what we got going on over. This is my team right here. I can go to get the police on you at any given time to get you to move from my tent. So all what I'm hearing right now is he went over there starting some shit.
There you go.
Wow.
Now, from the record of we getting, because I didn't get to read through all of these different witness statements, because that's what I was trying to get to. The witness statements state that boy came over there under that tent, and Karmelo, the young black male, he told him, bro, you don't need to be over here. Now the white boy said, now it assumes, well, who gonna move me? Well, at the end of the day, bro, you need to get from out from under this tent.
Right.
And if you touch me, it's gonna be a problem. Okay, I touch you. So I touch you. Cool. This was my initial question. Is a touch, because we don't know what an actual touch is. We don't know if he pushed him, hemmed him, or what is a touch. Grounds enough for a stabbing? And the answer to that is no. Why? Because Karmelo Anthony himself said, fine, you touched me if you punch me. This is why I said remove emotion. We got to go by the facts. So Karmelo Anthony himself ruled it out that a touch was not enough to defend himself with a weapon. So now we get to what Karmelo did next. He invited him to punch him, and if he does punch him, it's going to be consequences. My question is, under the stand your ground law or self-defense, what is the statutes that says you can invite someone to cause harm to you, and then you defend yourself. That's all I'm asking. I don't want to hear about the what ifs. I'm just asking about the statutes or the policies that relates to stand your ground or self-defense. Where does it say that you can invite someone to do bodily harm to you?
Texas. I don't know the statutes in Texas. Do you know, Tiff? What is the wait a minute? Isn't that where that one guy
the one that had affluenza? Yeah.
Mm.
The little boy that shot up the Frisco Mall 2 months ago and got probation. Like
Right.
there's a thing here. The two girls that last week in Waco that stabbed themselves, and both those children are dead. So it is something going on, and we can have that conversation about people not being able to de-escalate, because it is an issue. However, we got a whole bunch of what does the law say and what does this, and it says this. It's like we don't know who made these statements. If you really feel like this boy took a knife to school to stab somebody, I would totally be there. These are strangers that had a horrible incident that an adult should have been there and facilitated that way better. Both boys made bad decisions.
So somebody walk me through what's happening. Somebody walk me through what's happening under that tent.
Well, what we have to
what is going on under that tent?
Because I can tell you, my sister-in-law, her husband, he's a track coach right now, so I can tell you what's going on in that tent. They're getting their races together. Who running this leg? Who doing this competition and all that right there. So if you're from the ops, you're not supposed to be under my tent learning my strategies right there.
It was raining, and there is no strategy in track. What are you talking about?
Even still though, in a football game, basketball game, baseball game, if you're not on my team, you're not allowed in my tent.
If it is raining cats and dogs,
and we are
on my tent, then go to your tent.
Go to your tent, not my tent.
Raining cats and dogs, and everybody runs under a tent because it was him and two others from his team. So again, y'all don't know enough of the details, and I cannot believe that I've had to. This is about the third time I'm swinging with black men.
But this is what I'm saying from sports. I'm a coach. I'm a coach. Just from the coaching standpoint.
This is why this conversation would never be able to come to a conclusion. Because hold
on, the young man ran under the tent with two other people. So wouldn't that be enough? Wouldn't that be enough to rule out murder one?
Now the question is, did the other two people engage? No, there's no witness statement that says that the other two people who came under the tent engaged. It was just the other boy. Am I correct?
That's correct. But why did they run under the tent? Why were they in proximity with each other? Austin and Karmelo, they were only in proximity of each other because of the rain.
Sweet.
There was no intent.
Nah, bro. They came over to start some shit.
I can believe that. Wait, hold on. I can believe the way Big Dog Barking. I can believe that they probably came over there to start some shit, right? Now let's go with that, right? Now let's put a pin in that and let's hang it on the wall as evidence or alleged evidence. Now we have to get to the question: why? Well, first, what is the policy on bringing a sharp object to school? And then why did Karmelo bring that object to school? That's the question. Or to the track meet.
The pocket knife is it's less than 3 inches. It is a fishing knife. The boy is from Frisco. You look at him, he has pictures where he has a gun. He's probably hunting and fishing and farming, just like most of the country boys do. Come on.
Sweet. No. I'm with you on that one. Great. Now, watch this. It's a tool. Would you agree? Would you agree it's a tool?
Yeah, it's a tool.
Great. Now, why did he defer to a tool specifically to defend himself?
You tell me. You've got the answers.
No, I don't have anything. I'm only going with the facts. Why did he defer? Why did he defer?
Here's another thing. Here's another question.
He put his hands on me. I told him not to. So this is completely.
No, you didn't tell him not to. You said touch me and watch what happens. He touched you. Then you said punch me and watch what happens, and he punched you.
But Sel, do
But
you
that's
see
a
what I'm
verbal
saying?
warning.
I'm
when you get
legitimately reading
Hold
something
on,
with
Ty.
this
Hold on.
quote, right? So I'm saying
Mhm.
you are reading one thing, I am reading something else. The suspect told the officer, he put his hands on me. Then he said, well, did you do it? He said, I'm not alleged, I did it. He put his hands on me and I told him not to. Then he
Mhm.
said, is he going to be okay? What happened? Is this considered self-defense? They did not find a knife on him. Oh, come the hell, no.
They found the knife under the bleachers that covered in the tarp. It was blood on his hand. What are you doing?
You know what? You know what? Another thing I can't get past. Tiff said three people ran under that tent, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, if three people ran under that tent, where were the other two people to tell their story, and why didn't they help to defend Karmelo if they went under there to
Ain't
serve
no
yes?
ain't no sense of all of us getting
Hold
caught.
on. Huh?
Ain't no sense of all of us getting caught.
Well,
What?
taking it back to the knife thing, if the knife is legal and he gave him a warning, his warning was his ground for self-defense if he kept on with his assault. Here in Michigan, it's stand your ground, and that if you warn somebody and they keep on with the assault, that's your self-defense to defend yourself. Why he felt like he needed to use the knife, we have to be there to know. But maybe there is a reason why he felt like he needed the knife and not his hands. And it's not illegal for him to have that knife in his bag. That's like Tip said, that's a tool. He fishing, it's the South. That's what they do.
Hey, have we ever thought about that might have been a gang initiation?
Why
What?
we assuming all of this? That's
Cause you
crazy
gotta
work
think
right
about it. You
there.
think
That's
about it.
no,
Think about
no,
this. Think about this.
bro.
Think about this.
You
Hold on,
pulling
hold
some
on, hold on,
bullshit
hold
out
on,
your
hold on.
ass to put on that
Hold
boy.
up. Wait a minute.
That's
Watch this
Hold
though.
on,
crazy.
Watch this
Ty.
though.
Let's listen to this. Let's listen to this, Ty.
You talking to a former
You
coach
talking
that
about?
also you talking to a former coach that also used to be a nigga in the streets. What if, and I'm saying if, them three boys went over there to do some shit for an initiation? And
No,
But when
that's
the
it
dude,
went
very
hold on,
and it
hold
illegal.
went
on,
and it
big
went
dog.
and it went bad. And it went
Hold on,
bad.
big dog. Stay right there.
In the
Stay
And it
right
rain,
went
there, big
bad.
But
dog.
what
he
if
ran
the
over
white
there.
boy was trying
No,
to
stay right there.
pump
One mic.
Carmelo
One mic.
to be in the
One.
KKK? We can say the
One
exact
mic.
same
I'm
One
just
thing.
mic.
saying if it went
One mic.
bad. Because
One
But
mic.
it,
I done seen this. I done seen I
Big
got
dog.
brothers
Wait a
and
minute. Hold
cousins.
on, big
I'm
dog.
listening.
One
I'm
mic.
listening. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Here. If the three went over there to do some mischievous stuff, why didn't they say anything? Why wasn't there more of a scuffle with the other two if they came in the tent to do some harm
Plus,
with Carmelo?
because certain initiations don't require everybody to do something. I just need somebody to watch them do it.
God.
so what if
You
the
are
white boy was punking
Projecting now. You
Carmelo to
way
get in the
projecting.
KKK?
No, for real. I got family members that gang members. I know all the
do you
initiation
know? Okay,
processes.
but you
All I
That's
really
needed somebody to
crazy.
make. All I needed somebody to watch him take care of the business and go on about your business. Ain't no sense of all three of us getting in trouble.
why did you initially take this young man that has a 3.7 GPA that everybody that says something about him has said nothing about but positive things? Why would you make him out to be some type of gangster criminal? What
I
is
said
wrong
if.
with you?
Ignorance,
I said
ignorance,
if. I said
pure
if. And just
ignorance.
because he got a
If this
3.7
was a
doesn't mean
fifth,
he
we would all
absolved from
be
being a
here.
gangster.
All
But
right,
why
let's
That's
are
try
you
this.
pure
a black
ignorance.
Just
man? Okay,
because a
listen.
young black man has a 3.7 doesn't absolve him from being a criminal.
In
Wait
that
a minute.
same
Hold on, big
breath,
dog. Hold the pen right there. Ty, tell
Hold
him.
up. Wait.
in
Hold
that
on.
in
One
Ty,
that
second.
let Ty
same
talk. Hold
hold
on, big
on,
No
dog.
problem. No
because
problem.
Ty.
No
I'm
problem.
gonna jump off of here real quick. But in that same breath, that white, God bless his soul, the white young man could have been punking Carmelo to get in the KKK. If we're gonna speculate some
Hey,
outlandish, ignorant
if you want to
bullshit,
go that route, go
Hold
that
on,
route.
big
I'm not
dog.
that's
Hold
as
saying you're
dumb as
wrong.
hell. That's
But have you ever been
highly
in the streets?
unlikely.
Do you know gang?
hold on,
Bro,
big dog.
what? You
Can
don't
I?
even know. Yes, I do. I know a lot of street life here in Detroit. Yes, the fuck I do.
Ty, what part of Detroit you from, big homie?
West Side, 12th Street, born and
My
raised.
nigga, West
12th
Side,
Street, number
West.
streets,
My nigga, I know all that side. You real
4 block.
deep West. 4 block. Oh, you over? Oh, my nigga, Detroit, born and raised, 7 Mile, born
Yes,
raised on the
sir.
east side, raised on the east side, Gratiot and Harper.
See,
Went
I
to
this
got
is the
Kevin.
people
one
Went
over
to
there.
thing.
Bud.
This is the
Yeah.
one thing we gotta avoid. We gotta avoid these way far out speculations.
I'm
We
sorry.
gotta
It's
avoid, we gotta avoid those
but
way far out speculation. It's a
HQ,
simple, straightforward. The
HQ,
boy ran into the tent to get out of
Well,
the rain.
but
from what I'm
HQ.
from what I'm reading from the witness statement, this is from another young man by the name of Hunter, and then someone else, which both these names are redacted. They're both listed as black males. They were both breathing heavily and crying due to the nature of the events. They were with the coaches on the field and it was pouring down rain. We made the decision to relocate to the locker room just to get out of the rain. Once in there, things calmed down a little bit. However, they were hysterical and could not talk. In there, I learned Hunter was the brother of the victim. Tiff, you asked if they got a statement from the brother of the victim. Here's the statement.
Mm.
I attempted to ask them both what happened. I could not really get anything out of Hunter, but blank stated he wanted to speak. I asked him what happened, and he stated they were all sitting on the bleachers under a Memorial High School tent. When another male, who he did not know, walked over and sat under the tent. Blank then said Austin, the victim, told this male that since he did not go to Memorial, he had to leave the tent. Austin and the male went back and forth, and then Austin stood up and pushed the male to get him out of the tent. So now we have a physical altercation of the boy pushing Karmelo. Wait, Carmelo's last name is what? It was Anthony. Karmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
All right. So the white boy has pushed the black boy, right? Blank said during this time of arguing, the male was reaching around in his bag he had. It was at this time the male took out the knife and stabbed Austin and then left the scene. This was all Blank remembered when he talked to me. After this, I then stood with 3 athlete witnesses until CID arrived and interviewed them. I was then relieved by SRO and went back to patrol. But again, all of these statements are coming from the witnesses. So while we hear casting all these what if aboutisms and all this, that, the only thing we can go by is what the witnesses are stating. Now,
but there's a big gap. There's a big gap between him standing up and pushing the young man. They said he's fumbling in his bag. There's a big gap between him pushing him and fumbling in the bag. What happened between that point where he said he pushed him? They didn't say what the boy said. They didn't say what Hunter said. The other boy said. They didn't say any of that interaction. Where is the interaction? So the minute he pushed him, he just pushed him. And then he pulled out a knife. No, he didn't. There was other interaction. There was other things that happened between that time. What was that?
I am always under this, right? When it comes down to traumatic events, people won't remember everything. This is why I don't like going by witness statements, even though that's all we have at the moment. Me, I like going by video and audio. I don't care what everyone said because everyone has their own type of memory because we all have our own perspectives.
But according to Tiff, this is a new stadium, right? Or an affluent state. So you think they don't have cameras everywhere? They have cameras everywhere, right?
I want to see the camera. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I want to see all of it because here's the thing, Sil, like when people the bail is super high, it really is, but the average medium home in Frisco is $659K. These are not poor people,
right?
You get what I'm saying? It went off of the taxes because that's what those people make in that area. Frisco, Plano, McKinney, Allen, all very, very old money, very affluent. And let me say this, not old, new, because old money stays in Dallas. New money is out north. But that stadium, all of that, like their high school stadium looks like a college stadium. Everything is tip-top new. I want to understand how you have 76 witnesses, right? They took 35 statements that day. And we all know these are kids. Wasn't no Snapchat, wasn't no TikTok. Nobody was streaming. Nobody did Insta. No, I'm sorry.
Nobody pulled out a phone. Nobody pulled out nothing. And wait,
hold on. I need to make sure I'm following this correctly. So you said this is a mutual field, right?
Yeah, it's an open field. Like, you know how if you play like select,
Yeah. So your team have a tent and my team have a tent, right?
should. Yeah.
Okay.
But for
Austin,
me,
Austin, Austin is the white boy, right?
yes.
Anthony is the black boy, right?
Yes.
Austin and the suspect, who was later identified as Karmelo Anthony, was from Centennial High School and was sitting under the memorial. So Anthony was sitting under the wrong tent.
It's not all right.
Wait.
This is where it's going to get complicated, because this is what the coach was trying to say there. And we do know that there is an etiquette within sports. Absolutely. And if this was a situation where it wasn't raining, right? Two, if it was just overkill, I could get it. To me, it sounds like anything and everything that could have went wrong. It rained. The little boy went under the thing. They had words back and forth. I don't know if it was pushing and shoving. When you listen to the father talk, the dad said that he pushed him, and then his son moved the bag so he would leave the tent. But in the statements, it says that he pulled it out and he stabbed him. So even between the parent and the child, there's so many layers that aren't right, that I'm just like, let this come out. Let this information play itself out. Because what you are saying is very true. So like, emotions are high. People already feel away. You know, we just had them twins that got killed last month. Black mothers have never not been on edge. So this is very like, what the hell? But I do agree with what you're saying. We have to have a tempered response, because I feel like they're trying to bait us to make us get out in the street. Like, that's what I think this is.
What do you mean?
Okay.
What do you mean by betas, Tiffany? What do you mean?
Race war, baby.
Yeah, it just keeps. So you had the twins that got killed on the mountain.
Right.
You had the one dude that was dating a white girl. We've had a wrong shooting. We've had a stabbing. We've had segregation laws. Like the trying to get us out and enraged is something that they're trying to do, and we have to not respond to this.
Can I just speak to what Tiff just said before I get out of here?
Go ahead, Ty. Y'all hit the
It's
like button. Hit that like button.
Oh yeah, by the way, hold on really quick. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button and share it out. Make sure y'all support the stream, all right? We actually giving y'all good content, different, varying perspectives, even though it seemed like we just going back and forth. We actually having a conversation instead of being anywhere else. Y'all here over on the HQ channel. So support the channel and support the show. Like, share, and subscribe. See, I do good business. Go ahead, Ty. My bad.
Thank you.
You good. It's clearly, it's sad that we got to put race on this situation, but we know we live in a very high tense racial climate right now, and Texas is a very racial place. So it is what it is. We can't take that away from it, because it is what it is, and we know that our people are disproportionately on the wrong side of the law when it comes to justice. And that's it just is what it is. That's not trying to, I'm black and I'm proud or nothing. It's very gross to put gangbanger on that little boy, and we don't have no, sense of what either of these kids were into. But we do got to keep in perspective that the climate is the climate, like Tiff was saying. There's things going on, there's propaganda, and there's things in place. And if that little boy, if they can't prove intent that Karmelo, I'm gonna stop saying little boy, but Karmelo came to that school, to that track meet to hurt somebody, I feel like it's clear that it was self-defense, because for whatever reason, maybe he felt intimidated, but he was defending himself. He didn't have I don't think he had the intention to put a kill shot into him. He stabbed him to get him off of him. We don't know the conflict that was going on. There's definitely should be a video, because I don't know anybody at that age that don't got their phone in their hand all the time. Somebody was there just being on Snapchat or Instagram without even paying attention to that. They just there doing it. That's what they do. But we need more to the story to come out. But far as stand your ground and self-defense, it definitely looks like a classic classic case of stand your ground because he presented to warning. No matter what he said, hey, you keep punching me, pushing me, touching me, you gonna find out. You gonna fuck around and find out. That is a legal warning to say, hey, I am armed with something, and if you keep crossing my boundary, I'm going to defend my space. We all have a nice social space
Right.
around us that if you I live in a self-defense state. If you cross these boundaries, I'm going to defend myself however I feel like I need to defend myself at that moment. And
Mm.
I'm gonna get out of here. I'm
Thank you, Ty.
enjoying y'all conversation. Good luck
Thank
at
you.
HQ for even talking about.
Thank you, Ty. My question is yet again, if the person came to start some mess, if Carmelo came to start some mess and he had two guys with him, why didn't they back him up to start the mess? He had
Well,
plenty of opportunity. He had plenty
HQ.
of opportunity for them to fight. Hold on.
I'm gonna
They
get
had
in. I want to get in when you get through.
Hold on. They had plenty of opportunity to get started with some mess because they told him he had to get out of the tent. Where was the coach? Where was an adult? They weren't in that tent by themselves. Okay, fine. Telling him to get out. Hey, this is not your tent, buddy. And he's saying, leave me alone. It's out there raining, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going out there until it slow down. Maybe he said something like that. No, you got to get out of here. You got to go over there to your side of the tent. I'm not going nowhere. Don't talk to me. Don't touch me. He jumps up, pushes Carmelo. If you touch me again, bro, I'm finna do something. I'm giving you a warning. It has to be murder. First degree murder has to be premeditated. There has to be an intent to murder. He didn't intend to murder. You cannot prove that I intended to murder anybody. Deliberation. The act was committed consciously. The
Uh,
death was committed consciously,
let
not
me
impulsively. This was an impulsive thing that he did. He had no intention of doing it. This is not murder one. This
let
is
me let
not
me let me get in right fast. I stay in Memphis, one of the worst cities in the United States, and I stay in one of the worst parts of Memphis. You know what I'm saying? My son's 17. My son got a 4.5 GPA, and my son know the gangsters. I know some of these YNs. So when I sit up here and say what I'm saying, it's like I'm not saying this because I'm trying to put a neighbor on Carmelo Anthony. I'm saying this from my own anecdotal experiences dealing with my son and the boys that go to his school and boys that I done coached and all types of things. So when I'm saying, oh boy, we know that the stars some miss and the mother two boys were just to look out to make sure he came through with the task. Trust and believe when I say that, I done heard some of these YNs make them same plays around my neighborhood.
Mm. Why
But
didn't that white boy? Why didn't that white boy get a coach or an adult and say to them, "This boy
HQ.
won't leave.
he
This
didn't
boy
do
HQ.
won't
This
leave."
is what I know. This is what I know about games. As a coach, I
They're
can't
not
watch all my.
gangsters. Please
I
stop.
hold up.
Please.
As a coach, I can't watch all my plays at the same time, especially when we're not playing.
But I'm saying, why didn't the white boy go get an adult and say, he's under our tent? Can you please inform him that he shouldn't be here? He didn't
Because
do it.
in
Why
certain
didn't he do that? Because
in
he
certain
wanted to bully the
situations,
boy. Hold on,
it's
hold on.
I got you. I
He
got you.
wanted to bully the boy. That's what he was doing. He approached Carmelo first. He bullied him to the door. That was it was if anybody had intent, it was Austin, the young man. He had intent to harm him if that boy didn't get out from under that tent. Carmelo didn't have intent to harm anybody. He just ran out of the rain.
But in my own experiences, when I've been on the bench at a basketball game, if another player was sitting on my bench at a basketball game,
It's
I
not a
would tell
basketball
one of my it'll track meets. Even
in the
still,
rain.
as a coach, if you're not on my team, I'm gonna tell my team, my players to get you off my bench.
Can I be
So
honest for a second?
you see kids, young men going back and forth because they've said, and we've seen what Sal, you've got up to what one push. When you keep
Mhm.
reading, you get up to 3 pushes. So at what point you tell me, black men, when do you feel like you should be able to defend yourself? Or should he just have little boy push him out into the rain, do
Mhm.
whatever? That's what we doing.
No, no, you touch you. If first of all, if you touch me unprovoked, then we got a problem. We're gonna be dealing with that right there. Now, I'm not about to give you a second chance to touch me because you might take it too far. You see what I'm saying? But I do want to offer this because I can admit to my toxic nature. Right, I do have a touch of toxic. My thing is because I came up in a world where I don't care what you say to me as long as you don't touch me, we good. You see what I'm saying? I don't think anyone wants to be touched, invited or not, right? Because there's a warning that comes behind a big dog barking. Me and you into it. Me and you into it. You can call me whatever you want to under the sun, but the moment you lay a finger on me, now you have changed the whole dynamic of everything, right?
Right.
If I allow you to touch me and me and you already into it and I didn't do nothing to you, then I look like a punk, right? So what you gonna do? I'm gonna touch you again, right?
Right.
So now you touch me again, and I still don't do nothing. So you're like, oh yeah, he excuse my language, he pussy. I'm gonna touch this nigga again. Now you touch me again. All right, cool. You bigger than me. You look like you bigger than me. Guess what? What I've been warning you about, now you is about to get wicked. Bam.
All your boys is standing around us.
No. Let's
your boys. I ain't got no boys.
Right. Well, let's just stick with just between me and Big Dog, right? I don't need my boys if I got a knife. What I need them for? I'm about to go ahead. I'm about to blade you up. So now I blade up Big Dog barking, right? I give him one good one straight in the chest, right in between the rib cage, and I puncture the heart or I puncture a lung. Did I go to jail?
Should you or did you?
Yeah. Let's deal with the emotion first. Should I go to jail?
Yes, you should go to jail.
All
but
right.
not for murder.
Okay, what should I go to jail for? What should I go to jail for?
Manslaughter.
All right. Now let's go with that. All right. So I go to jail for manslaughter. Right? What's the time for manslaughter?
What is 15?
15. All right, cool. What's the time for murder?
It's like 20, I think it may be 5 or something like that. It depends.
Right. Cool. 15. So right. Thank you, Convergence. That's what I was looking for. Can you highlight Convergence's piece right there, please?
I see what you're saying, but that's making an assumption that he didn't attempt to walk.
It is. But remember, I only deal. I know. I only deal in what can, because remember, in court, because this is where this is going to go. I can tell you this is going to end up in court. They don't deal in truth, nor do they deal in lie. They only deal in what they can prove. All the prosecutor has to do is says, in all of this time, he could have walked away. If he really felt his life was threatened, he could have walked away. But because it stands your ground law, he does not have to flee or retreat. He can fight.
But here's the thing, Sale. Here's the other thing that a lot of people don't understand about Texas, which is odd, and I'm trying to see. Nobody's really brought it up.
I'm getting a phone call. I'll be right back.
You can't fire a warning shot. So if you have a concealed weapon and you pull your gun out, you have to shoot to kill. Because if not, if you can retreat, then there wasn't a life-threatening event. And what does that mean? Somebody. So Texas has some very odd laws. I don't like even the way that this little boy was charged, which I'm like, okay, he's 17, so technically they could kind of say he's a minor, but I've seen people in Texas at 14 be charged as an adult. So like everything that's happening is going to happen. I think a lot of us have some aversity and some aversion because we should, right? And what I have said is the biggest benefit at this point is now that there are national eyes on this, that there are eyes outside of Texas, and now this is a national story. We can only hope that he will get a fair trial, or they're going to let him plead.
You guys hit the like button, please. Hit the like button coming in. Hit the like button coming in, out, however you want to do it. We ain't asking for super chats. We ain't asking for gas yet. We're asking for shares and likes, please. Thank you very much. We down about 15, 20 likes. Come on now. Let's get it together. My whole point is this. He did not walk into that situation to hurt anybody.
Right.
I believe he had that fishing. A lot of people, see, here's the thing. I was born and raised in which My brothers had those little what
Swiss
the hell
Army
are those called?
knives.
Swiss Army knife. Swiss Army knife. And that had a blade in it, and that's like 2 inches, maybe an inch, 3.5. That's not used. That wasn't the intent of that young man. Not to go there and harm another person. I don't believe that they can prove those 3 tenets of first degree murder. Okay.
I agree with you, HQ, but a rat tail calm and a weapon until it gets stabbed with it.
Right. I can use a bat as a weapon. A bat can be a hanger could be a weapon. But that wasn't my intent to have that weapon. It's not my intent to use a bat as a weapon. It's not my intent to use a hanger as a murder weapon. He did not use that. So I got to keep calling it the Swiss Army knife because it's almost the same length. He didn't use that Swiss Army knife to come there to harm. There's many uses for that knife that he had. So he didn't come there to do murder. He walked into a tent because it was rain. He ran into a tent because it was raining. He ran in there to keep dry for the moment. Okay, fine and dandy. He shouldn't have been in the tent. But where is the adults that should have said, hey, young man, do you belong over here? He would have said, no, I don't. I belong, blah, blah, blah. And he said, when the rain stops, you get out of our tent. That's all they could have said. When the rain stops, go on over to your tent. They can't prove premeditation because he ran in there because of the rain. It's not premeditated. The intent, he did not intend to hurt anybody. And there was a deliberation that has to be a part of that murder piece. And they don't have all 3 pieces. And you got to have all 3 pieces to consider it murder 1. I know they're going to try to make it fit, but you can't make it fit because the young man said, is he all right inside of the police car? That's one of the first things he said. He didn't intend to hurt that man. He didn't intend to kill him. Otherwise, why would he ask, is he all right? 2, he said, I told him not to put his hands on me. Everybody confirms that boy put his hands on Karmelo first. That boy provoked the pushing, the shoving, all of that. The boy provoked that. So they can't prove, or they want to prove those 3, but they can't prove the intent, the premeditation, or I forgot the intent, the premeditation. What is it? And is it intent? Premeditation, intent, and deliberation. That's right. They can't prove that. Right. So I'm saying, great. The boy, let's just be clear. He should go to jail for something. But murder? And if he does have to go to jail, he shouldn't spend a long time in jail simply because he had a knife. Okay, you guys want to charge me for a knife. It became a weapon. Okay, charge me for whatever. But to ruin that young boy's life after he ran into a tent because it was raining is wrong. All day and twice on Sunday. That's wrong because he did not intend for any of that. The young white boy could have called one of the called one of the coaches and said, hey, coach, that dude is under here. Should you want me to put him out? No, the young man took it into his own hands to do the bullying or to do the pressure to get him out of there. Great. Someone has been deleted. We get all of that, Rain. We get all of that. But it also calls for intent. That's what it goes with intent. It goes with what should have happened. Not every person, every deletion on this planet deserves a person to be considered a murderer, right? Y'all, sir, I'm sorry. I hate this phone. Not every person, of course, is a murder. But is it a deliberate murder? Did you deliberately do it? Second degree murder. Second degree murder. I guess it may be not intent. I'm not sure. What's second degree murder? Second degree. Second degree murder is when there's no premeditation. Okay? Your intention was not to kill. It was not planned in advance. Depraved indifference. Depraved indifference. You didn't care whether you hurt another person. and the intent to cause serious harm. You cannot prove that he had depraved indifference. You cannot prove that he had the intent to kill. So he cannot be charged with second-degree murder. And the next one below that would be what is it called? What is it again? My brain went broke. My brain went fried. Manslaughter. That would be the next on the line. Of course, I think people would be able to live with that diagnosis or that verdict. But ain't nobody living with no murder one when that boy didn't walk into that tent to hurt anybody, to harm anybody. He walked in there because it was raining. And I get why you say they might charge him for that. But are they going? Do you want to win, or do you want to prove, or do you want to lose on all of those counts? Because you're going to lose on all of those counts. Even though we say we can see clearly this whole situation, and most people can look at it and say, okay, this is what happened. It's understandable. It's understandable. But then again, you have to ask the other question. You have to ask the other side of it. Why did this individual go into their tent? Why didn't he go into his own tent or whatever tent belonged to his side of the track meet or whatever? Why did he go in that particular tent? Wasn't there other tents that he could have went into? We don't know unless Karmelo tells us. Well, I came on the field and this was the first tent that I saw and I ran for that tent. Or if it wasn't raining and then he was still at when did he arrive? Did he arrive 5 minutes before he got into that tent? Did he arrive a half an hour before he went into that tent? Because if he arrived a half an hour before he got into the tent, he went into that tent deliberately. But if he only arrived 5 or 10 minutes before and didn't know where to go, how to go, and he just ran to a tent to get out of the rain, he has a case. Because I ran to this one, it was the first one I saw. This is the one I went to. But if you had time to ponder where the tents were, where my tent was, what was the opposing team's tent, and you deliberately went into the opposing team's tent, then maybe you have an argument about his intentions, right? We don't know what that is until we see the evidence. I would love to see a camera. When did he go into the tent? When did he arrive at the meet? Did he know that was someone else's tent? Did he understand who else was in the tent? Who were those other two people that we don't have a statement from those other two people? Usually when you make a statement and you walk into and you're friends with the person that you walked into, you're going to try to slant that information towards your friend. Where is these two people that he walked into the tent with? You know what I'm saying? Big Dog said, he might have went in there with his friend, try to start some stuff. Well, where's your two friends? Your friends, obviously, if they walked into the tent with you, they would play innocent, like they were going in there just to be having fun. We just went over there just to be in the tent because it was raining. We don't have a statement from the two people that he ran in there with because he didn't run in there with anyone. He just happened to be in close proximity with two other people that went into the tent because it was raining. They all just ran in there because it was raining. He didn't know who he ran in the tent with. He just ran in there by himself. So he didn't know people. So you cannot say he went in there with his buddies to start some stuff. Don't start that rumor. That's a rumor. That's your supposition. That's not ours. Right? We just dealing with the facts. We just dealing with how things play. If I see you on the street and then 5 minutes later I see you on this person's porch, I can naturally assume that you walked from that street directly to my porch. It started raining down the street. He naturally was inside of the tent a couple of seconds later, minutes later. Why was he going into the tent? Obviously because it was raining. And there was no other place for him to go. He didn't know anybody in the tent. Now, you go into a tent. Somebody is bullying you in the tent. All of the bully's friends are sitting there. You're the only one in that tent. your small that you know of, because he didn't know Austin. He didn't know any of those people beforehand, right? So I don't know anybody. I walk into the tent. I'm raining. I'm shivering. I'm sitting down. Let me dry off. Somebody says, "Get the hell out of the tent." I'm looking around. Are they talking to me? Dude, don't you see it's raining out? Get the hell out of the tent. I'm thinking in my head, why are you telling me to get out of the tent? I'm just in the tent because it's raining. I ain't trying to do nothing. Get the hell out of the tent, dude. And then,
Really quick, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all having me, but that was a very important phone call, and I really need to go. So y'all have a
okay.
good
Thank you for
day.
coming over, Say. Like, thank you for coming over. Thank you.
Anytime money is on the line, you gotta go. So
Thank you,
y'all
Say.
take it easy. Shout out.
So that's my take on it. I don't think the young man walked into the tent to do any harm. I think he walked into the tent just because it was raining. Just as simple and clear cut as that.
I could believe that part, HQ, and I'm just saying this because like I had did a case a while ago on I was on somebody's jury for a manslaughter. So yeah, I can understand what you're saying. I'm just going off my anecdotal experiences, what I know, what I be going off of, and then as far as the tent situation, I'm going off what I know as a coach and as a former player. Is like if you're not on my team, you don't belong in my tent. That's what I'm saying. So
Right.
yes, it's mandatory you get out my tent, regardless of whatever going on. You know, that's what I'm coming from. It's like you're not supposed to be over here. You supposed to go. And if it's raining, you can go outside in the rain. As long as it ain't lightning, you can run. So if it
Yeah,
wasn't
but
lightning,
you're a coach.
then you can go out, go find another tent. You ain't gotta be under my tent.
But you're a coach.
Yeah.
First and foremost, you're a human being. And you saw that it was raining heavily or whatever it was. So that particular part, I understand it, but I don't understand it.
Yeah,
The
I
person
understand it.
that's still, even though you told me to get out of the tent, that still doesn't mean I intended to nefarious purposes because I sat there. I sat there
That part
because
true.
I'm freezing.
That part could be true. That part could be true.
So,
And I'm freezing.
look at
Yeah.
the look at the picture that I just sent you. Because again, I'm just like, it's a lot of extra sauce being put on when things are just visually available, and I'm like, I don't like that.
Can
I
you
really,
share? Can you share it with me? Because I have no idea where to find it.
let me
I
see.
don't see it.
Let me see. Let me do present.
Okay.
Let me share my screen.
Okay.
And
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
you see that? That's how the tents are. And that blue tarp, the police put that over to protect the knife in the scene. Their tents are up in the stands.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because my
That's you. It's not like they're on the field in water. Not like you can legit see. And then let me find the TikTok that I just saw because they literally are showing how the weather looked. It looked like it was about to just bust wide open, which in Texas it does. Um, yes, I just that really bothers me. I don't know how or why you. I just I'm not okay with what
What?
you did to that young man. The whole I know what gangs do and what if this and what is that? And it's just like, why do we always do that to our people? Why
Till
are they willing
till
to give?
ma'am, it's just what I know and what I've seen in my life. That's all
But
that
you
is.
from Memphis. Memphis is
Yeah.
about one of the hardest places ever. This kid is a goddamn suburban kid. He probably ain't never seen nothing like that. Did you see the baby's picture?
I seen a couple of pictures.
Mhm.
Is he giving you hardened?
How tall, how big is he? What he 5'2",
Like
140, 150?
he's
No,
130. He's 130, and they say
one,
he's probably about 5'6", 5'7".
5'6", 130.
he's
He's
skinny.
small,
He's a skinny kid.
He
Yeah.
a skinny,
very
he's
small.
skinny. He's
And the
skinny.
other boy is 215 pounds,
He got, yeah.
almost a whole foot bigger than him.
Wait a minute, because when I initially heard, I heard that Carmelo was like 5'2" and the boy was 6 feet. So is we
He
saying Carmelo 5'7" and the other boy about 6'8"?
no, he's like 6'1", 6'2", just bigger boys.
Yeah.
Okay, got about a couple of inches.
Right.
Okay.
And he was surrounded, and Karmelo was in a tent surrounded by all of these guys.
Yeah, that happens when you run into the tent. That
So
ain't
you
yours.
think the young man was not intimidated to a certain extent? He thought they would have sympathy for him because it was raining. Let him sit under the
Now,
tent. We understand why he got under the tent.
yeah.
Don't need to say anything to him.
Now, this the thing about what you saying is like if we're going against your team, I have no sympathy. If we're going against your team. Now, if you're just a patron watching the track meet, I might have a little bit more sympathy for you up under my tent, but you have to get up out of there sooner or later. But if you're on the ops, ain't no sympathy. Get the hell out from under my tent. So are they going against the other team in the races or whatnot? I don't know.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the young man had nefarious purposes for being under the tent. Just because great. Let's go along with your scenario. He's from the opposite team and he need to get the hell out of my team.
Right.
Is it his fault that your player, this is your player now, your player is putting hands on him? What do you say to your player?
Well, I would have like I remember my son and one of my other teammates got into it a while ago, and I was looking at him and I was like, I want to see what's gonna happen because I know my son, he was kind of quiet and the other boy was kind of quiet, but they was bumping shoulders up against each other. I was like, as soon as one of them swing or push, then I'm gonna get up and do something. So as a coach, as a coach dealing with boys, I'm like, don't be a boy. I want to see what you're gonna do. That's just me. I might be toxic, whatever the
So you're
case may
gonna let
be.
him, you're gonna let your
I ain't
player.
gonna say fight. I ain't gonna say fight, but I want to see how y'all gonna handle this situation. So if it come to blow, then I'm gonna jump in and like, hey, we ain't gotta fight. But if you can get rid of the situation without coming to real blows, get rid of the situation without coming to blows. They
So
17. I mean, what do I expect from 17-year-old boys?
That
But to have they testosterone and aggression built up inside them, I expect for them to get a little umph with
that
each other.
part. So that to me is why I'm like, we're the coaches, we're the officials, the off-duty officer that came and got the little boy towards the end. Um, he he immediately gave himself up. Will you share my screen again, HQ? Because I want you to see this is this boy, his family, and their family home, and them at Disney World. So when we start talking about narratives, and when I'm like, you clearly don't understand where or how Frisco is. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
You can see their home and you see their family.
Yeah, back here in the back. Yeah, right.
So we're not going to do that.
So he was from an affluent.
Very much so. That's their house. That's them in Disneyland, and then that's a family picture.
And he was a 3.7.
3.7 GPA. He will be a senior.
Right.
Now, let me ask you a question, Till.
Horrible choices. Horrible choices. Young men make horrible decisions.
And that's what I was about to ask you.
Should have been there.
Because he's from an affluent household, does it absolve him from criminal activity?
That's not what I'm saying.
Now, I'm asking the question because he's a 3.7 from an affluent neighborhood.
No, because
does that absolve him from being a criminal?
No, what we're saying is because he was from that background, there was no indication that he hung around in gangs, that he did anything nefarious or against the law. And he had everything.
We don't know that. We know what we see. We know that he's from an affluent household.
But we do know he had a propensity to do well in school, conduct himself appropriately, live in a household where
just retaining information. Like I said, my son got a 4.5. That don't mean nothing. I know my son get with the shit. That don't mean nothing.
Yeah, but there's no indication that this young man was doing anything outside of that. All of his postings, all of his family's postings, all of these things are normal, everyday activities of a family that is well-to-do, a family that has their child on track to go to college. This is all of their postings is lined up with that. There's nothing out of the ordinary where you see him doing gang signs, loud music, riding around in cars, or whatever you want to post or whatever you want to say is attributed to a gang member. He's not doing any of those things. He's doing just what a normal, everyday, average person, going to school, having fun, 3.7 GPA, studying, family home is together, everything is intact. He has everything to move forward as a productive human being and not as a gang member. We ain't gonna put that jacket on that
I'm
boy.
not gonna put it on him, but peer pressure mud. MF.
But there's no such thing. There's nothing that says he has peer pressure, though, big dog.
Through the online pictures and everything. Now you ain't gonna see it, but in
Right.
real life, you don't know
Therefore,
what's going on in real life.
right. The white boy could be doing the same thing. We can say the white
Exactly.
boy.
I ain't saying he innocent.
So I'm saying, but for now, what the evidence shows is that they are innocent. So we're going to go with what the evidence shows.
Well,
The evidence shows he's not gang banging. The evidence shows the white boy was regular, normal, everyday, average white boy. We're going to go with that narrative. We're not going to portray it as, well, maybe he was doing something behind the scenes. I know people in the news that want to portray him. He got on a hoodie. He got on sweatpants like he's doing something nefarious, like he got the hoodie pulled up above his head. He was raining. That's why maybe he had the hoodie on his head. Okay. So my whole point is, don't put that jacket on that young man saying,
HQ.
oh,
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. But all I'm saying is this right here. I don't have to look the part to play the part.
We get it.
That's all I'm saying. Is like all that sound good. We don't know what the little white boy was up to. We don't know what Karmelo Anthony was up. I'm just going off hypotheticals in my own experiences. Like I don't have to look like a criminal to be a criminal. I don't have to act like a criminal to be a criminal. All I need the opportunity to do some criminal shit, and I'll do it. And if I feel like my consequences ain't that major, I'll do it again. That's all I'm saying. If Karmelo Anthony,
that's the intent. We don't think that's the intent.
yeah,
of
like I'm
young
just going off the evidence right now. It's like it just sounds like he probably was trying to duck off in the rain, and they got into a little back and forth. And Karmelo did what he did, and we got a young man that's gone and is never coming back. Yeah, it's a sad situation.
Yeah, but I don't think the young man, even though the young man, at some particular point, he has to face some kind of consequences.
Yes, he has to face some type of consequence.
But
Now, murder.
But murder one, that's a little too extreme.
Yeah,
for me.
so that I'm like you on that part. Is that right. I need more evidence. I need footage. I need more evidence to just put that on him. But right now he have to be guilty of something. Huh?
Where would this evidence be? The
well,
camera. They gotta have camera.
If Tiff said this enough, how long has field been up, Tiff?
I don't think it's been up more than maybe 2 to 4 years. But I'm trying to share the screen again. There are people that actually have these clips where like I wanted to show you where the rain was, because you can kind of see like it must have just opened up, right? Like it's, how people have like the perfect horrible recipe, like that's what it feels like happened. Like everything that could have went awry did.
One of them situations. Anything that could go wrong went wrong.
That part. And it's just like it's all very tragic. Do I think that the young man was probably afraid? Absolutely. Do I think that, like I said, some ego, some gravitas? Absolutely. Do I also believe that this could have been prevented with adult supervision? There's so many different things that I just don't want us to just write our baby off. That's when I'm going to lose it.
Like I said, as far as coaches, and I'm guilty of it too. I don't pay attention to them all the time. Like in between games or all this, like I'll be somewhere else doing something else.
And and even in my mind when I said it, a piece of me thought I was like, well, they're 17, right? So they're about to go off to college. Nobody should be like holding their hand.
Then that's what I was saying.
Well, hold on. But the other piece of me is like,
the mom in you.
The mom in me is like, not only should somebody been around these kids, but these kids is old enough to fucking suck. Where were the adults? Because either way it goes, it was too much freedom going on. It was way too much for this age group. They just don't make really good decisions. From like 18 to 25, if you can get your kids past there, you just feel like, okay. Because this is when you make decisions that for the rest of their lives will follow them.
Right. And this is and he was a twin. He was a twin. and they probably followed each other around, did the same thing for each other, and I get it. This is a tragedy. Okay.
So I'm gonna turn it up so you can hear. This is the dad and then the son also. And even when they're talking, it just doesn't seem right. Something is awry.
Right. At a high school track meet. The arrest affidavit, 17 to the killing, saying he was trying to protect himself.
He knew how much I loved him, how much I do for him. Anything, I do anything for him.
Hunter Metcalf says he held his twin brother Austin as he was dying.
I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So.
It happened at the district championship meet in Frisco. Hunter says his brother had asked Karmelo to move his seat because he was sitting under the wrong tent. A witness says Karmelo replied, "Touch me and see what happens."
I don't believe that. That's not a natural response.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And then the dad is going to be like, "Oh yeah," he's going to say, "Oh, my name is Karmelo." It's very.
And when Austin grabbed him, Karmelo allegedly pulled a knife.
They asked him to move, and when Austin grabbed his backpack to move, he stabbed him in the chest and killed him.
He's now charged with first-degree murder.
Just because the kid was mad, my son is not here anymore, and I don't understand it.
Austin is being remembered as an honors student with aspirations to play college football. Despite the shocking loss, Austin's father says he chooses forgiveness over anger.
I forgive the other person because the forgiveness is not for him. The forgiveness is for me, so I can have peace. His life is destroyed. My life is destroyed.
The arrest affidavit says as Karmelo Anthony was being arrested, he asked if Austin was okay. Anthony is being held on $1 million bond. Andrea Fuji, ABC News, New York.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Just in listening to what the father said, listening to
after a deadly stabbing at a track
because he was mad. Like it's like you don't get to do that. You don't get to act like your son was not a part of this, and that's what peeves me. And then instead of us saying like this is an absolute travesty, and nobody is saying like, oh, it's okay, everything should be all right. Nobody's saying that.
Right.
It's like this.
You know what the difference between these two men is? One of them was assaulted before they turned to violence. The other one wasn't even talked to. One of them had to tell their assailant, "Put your hands on me again and find out what happens." The other one had to take his AirPods out, put the Soldier of Fortune magazine he was reading back into his little backpack, and walk across a subway car to choke someone out. One of them was defending themselves from violence. The other one was defending strangers against words. This is important, so listen up. I'm not defending what either of these men did. But if you defended one of them, you better fucking defend the other one. Because if you defended this one, but you're not defending this one, even though this one was actually attacked, guess what that makes you? Racist.
Again.
Whew. Wow.
You get what I'm saying? Like, we're not, please
He started
stop.
getting aggressive and talking reckless, and my brother stepped in and said he's.
And that is what led Austin to losing his life, ladies and gentlemen, and Karmelo being charged with the crime. However, social media is standing behind Karmelo and has raised tons of money. The Anthony family has created an official support fund for Karmelo and his family during this challenging time. And in just a few days, they've raised nearly $300,000. Many are saying that Karmelo is a hero. One family brought up this news article here where Karmelo Anthony reportedly saved their child from drowning. Again, this is a very sad situation that could have been avoided from both sides. Stay tuned to hear from Hunter, who's Austin's brother, that was there at the time of the event.
This kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother.
So my question:
do you understand? So at HQ, can you understand now? Like, let me stop.
Realized that he forged 3
You stopped it?
testimonies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just even in the sense that we see how it's being reported, like we don't need anybody black to victimize or make our children criminals. They do that already. Like,
Right.
even if you don't think, the best thing that you could do is just be quiet and let it play itself out. And if you want to be the I told you so's once it's over with, then by all means. But right now is not the time for any black person to be putting
Okay.
on this young.
You all hit the like
Okay.
button.
Can I say something?
Hold on. Y'all hit the like button. Come on in. Y'all hit the like button. You know what we got to do. Hit the like and share, please. Hit the like button, please. Okay. Black America?
Yeah. So, Tiff, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I just think it's really bad. It's really toxic. I don't like what Big Dog did with the gang banging shit. From a gang banger, from a person that's been in prison, from a person that's in a motorcycle group, from all of the criminal bad elements of society that I am, that came from a pretty decent, mother and father home, affluent place, stuff like that. Don't put that jacket on that kid, bro. It's not for everybody. But Tiff, you so if this wasn't a black child, would you be this up in arms about it if this wasn't a black child?
We can't hear you, Tiff. We can't hear
you. You muted.
Yeah, no. Earlier, there's clearly something going on in Texas. I hope that I'm gonna try to find out, because my niece is in high school. My son is an adult, but trying to figure out like what's going on. There were 2 little black girls in Waco 2 weeks ago. They both stabbed each other. They both died.
Okay, so what's wrong with that?
What?
Okay, this is my whole thing. Since the beginning of time, Tiff, people have been killing each other. There's nothing wrong with that. Cain killed Abel. I don't know why people are not accepting of this fact. Death is a part of life. I understand that we don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that. But I don't want you to get so wrapped up because of this one little black child done killed this little white boy, and now we need to protect him. Tiff, when we were young, you're a little bit younger than me, but when we were young and out there gang banging, shooting, running and gunning, selling everything in the world, Tiff, niggas was dying every day. I promise you, nobody cried over us. It is a part. Listen. It is something that has calmed down from where it used to be, Tiff, to where it is now. It is nothing like it used to be. I promise you, it's just like people that was HQ's age and a little bit higher. They was all of the drug addicts and the crackheads. And then guys 52, 54, my age, we were all the ones selling dope and going to prison for it. It's just a part. People are always going to die. I don't want you to get so wrapped up in this young man just because he's black. Yes, his bail is extremely high. His bail is astronomical. But he stabbed somebody and he could have fought. The rain has never killed anybody. Okay? He could have walked his ass out of that tent and turned his back on that whole situation. As far as men, when we see it, what we say is, you either knuckle up. None of us men have a problem with him fighting. We all believe that he should have stood his ground and got down where he was mad at. We all believe that he should have fought tooth and nail and either beat the brakes off of him or got his fucking ass kicked. That is what we all believe. He chose to pull out a knife at 17 and take another boy's life. I don't want you to get emotional about this young man. He's not the first one, Tiff, and he's not going to be the last one. This is part of what boys do. This is part of what boys have been doing for thousands of years. You are not going to stop it, sweetie. You're not going to stop it.
I can't. I want to love everybody. I want y'all to hold hands, and I want the white boy to be like, you know what? I was being an asshole because that little boy. I just fundamentally, I believe they were probably being white, like white in Texas. Like
what's being white?
Huh?
What's being white?
Like whiteness. When you this is when we start talking about like segregation, and those of you that are like up north, and those of us that's here in the South.
I'm in the South, so I'm wondering what white is.
So you already know, one, segregation never ended for us, right? And two, we understand that there's a two-tier justice system. So Black America, I completely understand that boys will be boys. And yes, violence is a part of it. All the way there, right? My concern is, had it been flipped in Texas, the same that boy, the white boy that got away with killing somebody because he had affluenza, he was too rich. Him being so rich was making him. I told y'all 2 weeks, maybe 2 months ago, we had a shooting in one of the nicer malls. He was going through a mental crisis. So to me, all of these people, Dylan Ruth, y'all go, they get Waterburger and food and excuses, and people want to talk about their lives. And we tear our very own down. That here this little boy is from an affluent home that has good grades, that everybody that sees it is like, oh, now, do I think he was wrong? Yes, he could have responded much differently. My issue and my concern is, where were the adults, right? And what really happened. There are too many different versions. We've listened to 4 videos and got 4 different things. We've read, and we're reading the notes, and it was, he got pushed. Well, he said this. Well, no, he said that. All of these.
I understand that. I understand that, Tiff. But this is what I'm telling you. Don't get wrapped up because he is a black child. You have to not. Hold on. Listen. Mm-hmm. My brother got killed 10 days after his 21st birthday. Right. Mm-hmm. My brother was somebody's child. Children die every day, Tiff. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Mm-hmm. Children die every day. And you know what happened? This young black man who admitted that he killed him, he actually took some other person's child away from them. I seen my dad cry twice. My dad cried when my brother got killed and when his appendix burst. And what he said to me was, a man should never have to bury his sons. Sons should always have to bury their fathers. Right? I don't give a fuck about the white boy. I don't give a fuck about the black boy. Just because he's black, I don't give him any credence or make him any better, because he's still a child and they're still boys. And I believe they should have fought and stomped each other's asses out. That is what I believe. But they're both athletes. I don't like what you did either about saying that this kid is 130 pounds. This boy is on the football team. He is one of their star safeties on that team. You don't, as an athlete, as an athletic person, just like that coach, Big Dog, you don't become one of the best people on the team in high school at 132 pounds. He was 160, 100. He was benching over 200 pounds. He's not a little kid. This is a young adult. Stop looking at these young men that are doing this shit as kids. They're no longer children. After 13, 14, as a boy, your mother can't tell you shit. You know why? Because she can no longer hurt you. You can whoop her. You can whoop this boy until his skin falls off. He doesn't fucking care. We don't feel pain. These are not children. These are young adults, young men with all of this testosterone and stuff. You're right. We are animals and we will do anything and everything we damn well please. We need older men to temper us. There were no men. You don't pay attention to the young boys when you're at a game. When you're at a Raiders game, like in San Francisco, and you come sit on the wrong side as the opposing team, you may lose your life, Tiff, in a major football stadium. It is possible for you to lose your life. I just don't want you to get caught up just because it's a young black man, okay? Stop thinking about it as this black and this white shit. It's not always black and white.
I tried to not think of, I was trying to be objective. Would I feel the same way if it happened the other way around? I think I would feel the same way. I don't believe he should be murder should be put on his jacket. He shouldn't have that jacket. Yes. Manslaughter, yes. With extenuating circumstances, yes. But no way in hell should that boy go down for murder 1 or murder 2. It should be something a little lesser than that. But he should do his time. He did take somebody's life. I will grant you that. But I would think it would be the same way for the young man.
But even with that though, what about that Kyle? What was his name? Kyle? Like he shot people.
Kyle Rittenhouse.
I mean, the criminalization when
it all comes down to what kind of lawyer you got. What kind of lawyer you got?
No, I mean that was a different circumstance. Kyle Rittenhouse was trying to get away. He killed 2 white people. It's not like he killed 2 black people, right? He killed 2 white people. He was trying to get away from them. He fell down on the ground and shot his gun. They grabbed his gun. They should have been dead. Those guys should have been dead. You don't try to disarm somebody with a rifle. These are different situations and circumstances. Somebody told me, "Oh, Kyle Rittenhouse, that's a different situation." You can't bring that into the same realm of what's going on. It was a BLM protest. It's not the same. These boys were damn near of the same stature. Once again, that black boy was 5'11", that white boy was 6 foot. Okay, they're both football players, which means what? They are athletes. Their bodies are toned up and ready to go. What'd you say?
Who's 5'11"?
The black boy Anthony is 5'11".
He's not 5'11".
Check it again, hon. Check it again. No. I looked at their when this happened. I looked at their football stats. Once again, coach, these boys have been on. You watch Friday night highlights for college football.
Yeah.
Right.
Both of these boys have been on that show because they're fucking they're athletes.
They D1 bound then.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. You're not going to be on those shows as an undersized athlete, Tiff. I'm sorry, hon. I'm sorry. These are athletes. These are sports cars.
I have said over and over and over again, all I want us to do is to allow the information to come out, allow this to be a full investigation, and if it goes to trial, ensure that we have the eyes on it so that he gets a proper and fair trial. Right. Do I think this is going to go to trial? No. I think it's probably going to get pled out. I don't think that they want it just the way that it's playing out now is not given that. Again, if the boy was a gangster, I guarantee you every false flag that he had, every gang picture that he had, because they found one with him with his middle finger flipped up. One. Okay. And we know all them kids be like, I can't stand the middle, but that's what the youths do. even in that, like, the immediate criminalization is very odd to me. We do not give each other the benefit of the doubt. And we do know that he has said yes, but he is entitled to a fair trial, correct?
Right. Yes.
Yes, 100%. But the whole thing about it is, especially with you women, right? For the most part, you guys care so much about people, right? You guys care so much, and I understand that. Once again, I'm a guy. I can't give a fuck about every person. I can only give a fuck about the people that are under my control. You guys care about everybody and butterflies. And one of my girlfriends, every time that dog commercial come on, this motherfucker's crying. I have to send her out the damn room. Don't be crying over no damn dogs. They eat dogs in other countries. I've been in Korea. I've eaten dog. It's not that. I got my dog. It's very important. But the whole thing about it is, you guys, y'all care so much. Don't be caring about these people. No, like I told somebody else, when we was gang banging and out there selling drugs and running and gunning, nobody wasn't caring about us. It was up. It was what it was. And people are still doing the same stuff. Just don't, just like you said, just wait for all of the information and then make your response there. But don't try and say, don't go on any panels and say he was 100 pounds heavier and he was 6, 7 inches, 6, 7 inches taller and stuff like that. They were two high school boys that who were athletes, and that's what they were.
Are we saying that all athletes are the same? You saying the O line and the D line is the same in the makeup of the position?
If they about 6 feet and 5'7", it ain't that much difference. Like if Karmelo Anthony was the safety, what the white boy was, Black American.
I think he's O line. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know what those.
No. The white boy was an outside linebacker. The white dude was the white boy was an outside linebacker. Anthony was a safety.
They both played defense.
Exactly. That's why I say these boys are both aggressive. These are both when you're talking about young men and they play both on defense, these are the pit bulls and the corner. They're headhunters. They're always looking to put people down. I'm sorry, Tiff. I know you guys don't understand violence like men understand violence. These boys are on defense. Offense is for the pussy guys that want to protect people. Defense is for the guys that want to kill people. I'm sorry.
My son was a quarterback. That whole look.
No, I'm not saying soft like that. But what I'm saying, but that is what defensive guys are for. They're trying to every time I seen somebody, I didn't play the formation, I played the ball. And every time I came across that line, I was trying to break something on people. Physically, I like seeing people have snot bubbles and throw up.
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
I played D tackle, D end, and outside linebacker. My job was to smack the quarterback.
And that's what and you every time. That's what I'm telling you. You guys don't understand it, and it's cool. But I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'm still enjoying the show. Tiff, just please just don't.
Damn it! What'd
you say?
Yep, you can't make me not love me. I'm gonna put my mammy on, and I'm gonna love on that little black boy, and I don't want that baby to go to jail, and I want that other baby to get up. I get it. But yes, this is upsetting. They have ruined their lives.
I hear you, but the whole thing about it is, if you're gonna be sad for that black child, man, be sad for that white boy family too.
I'm sad for the boy. I'm sad for his twin. I'm sad for that high school. I'm sad for the city. I'm sad for my state. And I'm damn sure sad for the country. Because I don't want us to be this up in arms. I want it to be he pulled a knife. He shouldn't have done it. What happened? that's what it is. If everything was upfront and cut, I don't think the response would be the same. But that's not
Okay.
the truth.
Well, you have to condemn him for pulling that knife. And this is the problem. We have to start. You have to condemn him for pulling the knife.
Why?
Because it's a criminal act. If I come to your house and steal your TV off the wall, and your husband put hands on me or shoot me, Tiff, that's my fault. That you gotta condemn me for the bad action. You never, whenever you playing football, the ref never catches the first shove. He always catches the second shove. Right?
I'm Black America. My son is 27. He played football from 4 to his senior year. Would have played in college. And you better not miss your fucking blocks. Now, don't get me wrong. I was a football mom. I want you. My son say, I want his brain to rock, Mom. Did you make his brain? He broke arms, and we was happy about it. So trust me, I understand the level of contact and violence. My issue comes when it is time to de-escalate. Regardless, these kids don't have conflict resolution skills, and we're seeing it, and it's killing them. So as a parent, I can say like something is awry. The level of empathy is not right. The response is not right. Why can y'all not talk to each other? Because at this point, we need to postmortem this and break this down. So hopefully I know violence is going to happen in Black America, but it doesn't have to happen at a high school track meet at 10 o'clock in the morning.
You know what you're doing, Tiff? This is what I you tell the basketball moms and the stands. It's like you're cheering for your son to do all the dirty shit to the opposition. It's fun when it's fun when your son getting on somebody's ass and you cheering and hooting and hollering for all that shit. But the minute somebody get on your son ass, now you want the referee. Now you want the referee to blow the whistle every time your son getting beat up.
Let me look at you, because you can't see me, but let me look at you. I didn't raise no bitch.
Oh, how you doing?
Like, absolutely not. Football is football.
I feel you, but you can't cry. You can't cheer for your violent son to break arms and then cry when your violent son gets
cry when he got harmed, because that's a part of
it. That's what I'm saying. But that's what you're doing now. That's what you're trying to do now. Is you're trying to protect.
Hey guys, I'm about to go. You guys have a good day. I'll talk to y'all later. I'll still be watching.
Thank you, Black America.
Bye, Black America.
Bye, my guy. But that's what I'm saying, Tiff. Like that's a problem that we have, is that we want to protect a assailant.
I gotta fight for him because you done made the baby a criminal. You done made him a gangster.
Hey, did he stab the boy or not? Did he stab the boy or not? Did he stab? Did he stab him?
He got hookers and hoes.
I ain't say he had hookers and hoes. I said he stabbed them. I said worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, that could have been a gang in this shit. That's worst case scenario. Anything else, he was just a boy. First of all, why he had a knife at the school anyway? Ain't that against the law?
No.
And that against the law to have a knife. Cause I know in Memphis you can't have a knife in school.
No,
that's against the law. You get arrested for that. So I don't know how it is in Texas, but in Memphis, you can't have a knife, gun, no type of weapon inside the school or on school grounds at a football game, basketball game, because you'll get arrested. Did he have a knife?
He had a Swiss Army knife. He could have had. You never know. This was a very small, and it probably was not even intended to be a weapon. It was more of a opening a can, sticking a knife in a piece of fruit. It was one of those Swiss Army knives, probably, and he probably had it in his backpack, and that was the only thing he thought. But it wasn't something that he just pulled out, and it was an intent to hurt someone with that knife. I don't think it was just a small. It can't have been no longer or bigger than maybe like that. Maybe not even that big.
We laugh at 22, but we know a 22 can get you. We laugh at 22. We know a 22 can get you. So again, it's like regardless of how long the blade was, if he hit the right spot at the right time, it's a deletion.
But I don't think. But that's the thing. Like when I keep saying like it just everything that could have went wrong. Because what was the little dude? Is he like some type of ninja? He knew exactly where to stab the boy with the. You know what I'm saying? Like this is.
He probably got a lucky one in. I ain't mean lucky like, but you know, if you scared,
it's that part, and that to me That to me is the bigger message, and that to me is where my concern is.
I can't even say he's scared, because if he plays safety on a big boy high school team in Texas, and he plays safety, and he's damn near going to Division I colleges, he ain't scared. He a headhunter. He's not scared. He play defense. He's not scared. He's not scared. So again, did he do that on purpose?
I don't want to talk about any other incidents, but if he did it, and he did it on purpose,
he admitted he did something
in jail.
He admitted he did it. Now,
no, we're not saying that he shouldn't.
We're asking if it's self-defense. And the thing I'm saying is that he wasn't. The issue is this: he was at a field yard, but it's not connected to a school, so it belongs to the district. But then you get to saying, you know, and you were a coach. So if you go to the admin, what you do at admin is completely different than what you can do at a particular campus, right?
Yeah, because the picture you showed about the tents, my sister-in-law husband, that's how they tents be set up in the bleachers for his track to be up under the tents.
And everybody just walk around and speak and, you know, do whatever. I'm just like, and then I even had to go and I wanted to look at the time, because I'm like, okay, what was going on? Because, you know, even with track, like them early morning events is what cross country, shot put, shit that don't nobody want to watch, right? About the evening time, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, this when the runners come out. But that happened at 10 in the morning. I'm like, when
because I remember. Yeah, I remember going to a track meet with my nephews, but they was little boys then. They were doing like the little kid races and all that. They weren't doing the shot putting out. They were doing little kids races. So 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, this like ain't hardly nobody there. They letting little babies do their thing and all the boring events. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and that's
then it should have been plenty of witnesses too. It should have been plenty of witnesses then to see this one particular thing.
Share my screen again, because when you see it, just the context, it's just like, this is nuts. Like, whatever, this don't make no sense.
My biggest thing with the whole situation is what happened with the back and forth. That's my biggest thing right now. What happened?
We don't have a clear cut back and forth, right?
No, but do y'all see just in that? It says crazy how a few moments.
This is a crazy video that you have to see. It's unimaginable.
So that's where it happened here.
Right here. See that? It was that's what I heard the video.
He was looking at, so basically it was the weather that made him run up under the tent.
Yeah, because if Texas got anything we got in Memphis, then the weather was kind of bad. Yeah.
Right.
Crack. And that's what I'm saying. Like, so when we have the information, when you can look and see, it's just like, please, y'all, let's just take it in, say we don't know. And he could absolutely be running game, not telling the truth. But you know who needs to do all of that? The goddamn police. You know what we need to do? Pray for the family, pray for each other, and temper, and be vigilant.
Y'all hit that like button, hit that like button. So we're gonna have final thoughts from Big Dog Barking, because I always got to get my grandkids around 9. So
well, I appreciate coming up, HQ. I appreciate having me up here. I appreciate
you, and don't you put that jacket on that kid. Don't put that
HQ. When you done seen as much as I done seen, you know, I ain't saying
but I don't
you
think you did that. This is not that though.
I got you.
Maybe he's not as innocent as we think he is, but I don't
say that. I can agree to that. He might not be as innocent as everybody
as we say it is. Maybe the running under the wrong tent might have been a deliberate thing. We don't to provoke. Okay, fine. We don't know that, so I'll give you that. But I'm not gonna give you the gang banging, blah blah blah. I'm not giving you that.
As long as you give me some HQ, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. But I appreciate the time up here. Let me get off here before my wife kick my ass. So
don't get in trouble now.
Yes, please come back. Please come back.
I'm gonna try. If I make it through the night, you know how y'all get when y'all hungry. I gotta feed them.
You better go feed her. Give her drink. HQ, I have been enjoying the channel so much. You've been doing the crime series and the dating and the who's a good fit. I see you done almost came up a whole nother 100. What is that? Looks like another 1,000. You up to 2K?
Yeah.
You working over here, sis?
Yeah, I'm trying. I thank you for coming over. Hopefully y'all have subscribed to Tiff's channel. She put it in the chat. And I don't know who all is here, but thank you all for coming. Please hit the like button, the share button, all that good stuff. You shared the stream over on your side, right, Tiff? Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
See you next time. Have a good night. Enjoy your grandbabies. Y'all be nice, be kind, drink some water, and go hug somebody. Give yourself a hug. Love y'all.
Thank you. Guys, that was a very intense couple of hours. And this is going to get worse before it gets better. But we have to support the process. The process has to be supported. The young man, we understand someone lost their life. We get it. Somebody lost their life. We can't just say the young man has to walk away. We cannot do that. But we hope that the process is helped. The process is going to be the right process. He won't be railroaded if he has no intent or if they cannot prove those 3 tenets of first-degree murder. And you know what they are: premeditation, the intent, and predetermination. They don't have those things for that young man. So let's hope that they give him the true justice that he's supposed to have. The young man, I'm sorry that he lost his life. He is a young child at the beginning of his life, the beginning stages of his life, and he lost his life. We want to give good words and good encouragement to the family. We want to do that, regardless of whether you're black or white. I would still have the same sympathy, still have the same feelings, still have this stuff weighing on my heart for the boy, for the young man who lost his life. We have to have sympathy for both of these characters, because we have to remember both of these boys were 17 years old and irreversibly changed. Both of their lives irreversibly changed. And I thank you guys for coming out. Please hit the like button. Please continue to come back. Please sub to Tiff's channel. Thank you guys. Thank you.